for those of you who are watching us on YouTube and Facebook, you can see on the table in front of us that we have some new items out. And so these items are part of the newest wave of our JDM Tuners line in 1/64 scale. So in front of us we have
Wave 4.
And Mike. So could you go through what is in this wave and yeah.
Yeah, so in Wave 4 we have an R35. It's flat black with gold graphics, and it pays homage to some of the original Ken Marie graphics that you see in Japan on the race circuit. I think it's awesome. It looks really good. It translates really well to the body lines of the R35. We have a Toyota AE86 in the gold trim and Watanabe wheels, which is where we've brought this car to our office here in City of Industry, took pictures of it, and we were trying to mimic that in this 1/64 scale version.
I see him on our Instagram all the time.
Yeah. Run free and on Instagram. Free. Yep.
Well, could you tell me why with this car in particular, it just seems to have such a cult following, why is that, you think?
Oh man, there's a lot to it. I kind of have to attribute it a lot to Initial D. And in that car, the AE86, the Turano is a legendary car. The balance of the weight ratio, the power to weight ratio. It's a light car. It doesn't need a lot of power to make it go fast. I mean, it was legendary in the street race circuit over in Japan, and out here it's just one of those cars that everyone is after. Because it's hard to find one that's in good condition that you can fix up.
Yeah.
Overall handling, I think capabilities of that car too is just for its time. I think was very. I think when you talk about these kinds of cars, it really lends itself to the overall driving experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
That's what it really came down to.
And so this was what you would call a true driver's car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So his Instagram is Run Free AE86.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful car. His car, he did a really good job in that car. It's really nice. We also have a raw metal 510 Datsun. We have RS. What is that? A new R34. We have a Supra, and we have the 70. Which one is it?
The 71 Nissan Skyline GTR Hako.
Yep. The Hako.
Classic.
Yep. And what's kind of cool about the Hako is we did something new that we typically don't do with the 64 scale cars. If you look at the rear tail lights, they're actually jeweled rather than just being painted. Mm-hmm. So we're looking at doing that more often with our 64s.
And so by jeweled,
they're plastic. So it looks it's actually a plastic piece rather than just painted, mimicking a light lens. Mm-hmm. So it's it looks a lot more authentic rather than just a painted tail light.
And so what made you want to choose to make it plastic instead of
there's a lot of things to it. There's one, it just looks more detailed. It looks nicer. It looks more authentic that way. Because headlights and tail lights should be plastic, and sometimes because of costing you can't do that. Mm-hmm. But we found a way to be able to do it without having to increase the cost so much. But it just takes a lot more engineering. The lights are really small, so it's our factory. They hate us for it because it's really difficult to assemble sometimes. Mm-hmm. But those are the things that we want to start doing more often, just to give it more detail.
And so were there like any other talks about trying to do something like that prior to this, and then this one was the one that we finally chose?
Yeah. From the very beginning is that when we were designing this car is that's how we wanted to do it. Mm-hmm. And we were going back and forth with our engineering team and making sure that it would work the way we wanted it to work and have the look that we wanted to achieve. And and I think it came out great. I think it's a cool thing, and hopefully we'll be able to do more of this in the future.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. Yeah. I think that out of them all, my favorite one is probably the Hakosuka.
Yeah, yeah, it's a cool casting. I really like it a lot.
It's a toss up between that and the Ken Marie inspired R35 for me.
Yeah, exactly. When I first saw that Ken Marie after we got the first sample, I was like, oh man, that thing's hot.
It looks really nice, especially in 64 scale.
Yeah, yep.
Jumps out at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and with everything in this wave, well, these are all cars that, if you want to, I don't know a better way to sum it up, but I always like to say, the kings of JDM, and then but you have certain cars that really come to mind, and so obviously, GTR is probably up there with most people. Supra is probably a close second, or maybe even higher than a GTR. But so how about if we speak to some of the heritage behind these cars and well, why they are so special, even from a cultural standpoint, to maybe a racing standpoint, just an iconic legacy that they all carry, Well, why do you guys think that these cars have made it through the history?
It's tough because there's with the GTR, the whole Skyline and GTR lineage, they've been just known as the muscle car of Japan. They're just the top.
I've never thought of it like that.
Yeah, they've been thought of as like the ultimate race car coming out of Japan because they were just so powerful. The engine's huge. The designs were groundbreaking at the time. I mean, even today, the R35 is just, it's a beast. This guy can tell you. Daryl's all into that R35, and it's that car, and also the elusivity of it, because you can't bring the R34s and below to United States without jumping through all kinds of hoops.
They make it really hard on you.
Yeah.
So the 32 and 33, I think, are good now.
Yeah,
and now it's the 34 that.
It's like a 25-year rule or something like that.
It's coming up in a few years.
Well, there's that 25-year rule, but then I think there was because of the Hako, it was I think it's like a cherished vehicle in Japan, and they didn't want it to be outside of Japan or something like that. There was some weird thing where even that car was very difficult to get in the United States.
Right.
And what people were doing were getting a different vehicle and that was really close to it and using body panels to make their own Hako here in the United States, but they weren't true Hakos.
So it's kind of like a Frankenstein car.
Kind of, yeah. It's like if you're a gun guy, sometimes you can't get a certain kind of gun in California, but if you were to import the pieces and put them together here, then you can.
Right.
But that's a little different because you're actually building the real thing. With the Hako, you're starting off with a different vehicle from the beginning, and then you're putting parts on to make it look similar to what it was, to what it would try and build.
But I can actually appreciate that way too. It still takes a lot of craftsmanship to pull off something like that.
Yeah, exactly. But what's cool about this wave is the AE86 in this wave 4 164 JDM Tuners is the new casting of the wave. And the next few waves that are coming out will have more new castings. So it's if you're collecting 64, keep an eye out for them because there's some hot new ones and they're coming down the pipeline.
Dropping some mad heat.